These early fights were not without trials. Clay was knocked down by both Sonny Banks and Cooper. In the Cooper fight, Clay was floored by a left hook at the end of round 4 and was saved by the bell, going on to win in the predicted 5th round due to Cooper's severely cut eye. The fight with Doe Jones on March 13, 1963 was Clay's toughest fight during this stretch. The number 2 and 3 heavyweight contenders respectively, Clay and Jones fought on Jones' home turf at New York's Madison Square Garden. Jones staggered Clay in the first round, and the unanimous decision for Clay was greeted by boos and a rain of debris thrown into the ring. Watching on closed-circuit TV, heavyweight champ Sonny Liston quipped that if he fought Clay, he, Liston, might get locked up for murder. The fight was later named Fight of the Year by the Ring magazine. 49. In each of these fights, Clay vocally belittled his opponents and vaunted his abilities. He called Jones an ugly little man and Cooper a bum. He said he was embarrassed to get in the ring with Alex Matev and claimed that Madison Square Garden was too small for me. 50. Ali's trash talk was inspired by professional wrestler Georges. Wagner's, after he saw George's talking ability attract huge crowds to events. 51's Ali stated in a 1969 interview with the Associated Press Hubert Meisel that he met with George in Las Vegas in 1961. That George told him that talking a big game would earn paying fans who either wanted to see him win or wanted to see him lose. Thus, Ali transformed himself into a self-described big mouth and a bragger. 52. In 1960, Clay left Moore's camp, partially due to Clay's refusal to do chores such as washing dishes and sweeping. To replace Moore, Clay hired Angelo Dundee to be his trainer. Clay had met Dundee in February 1957 during Clay's amateur career. 53. Around this time, Clay sought longtime idol Sugar Ray Robinson to be his manager, but was rebuffed. 54. Main article: Muhammad Ali vs. Sonny Liston. By late 1963, Clay had become the top contender for Sonny Liston's title. The fight was set for February 25, 1964 in Miami Beach. Liston was an intimidating personality, a dominating fighter with a criminal past and ties to the mob. Based on Clay's uninspired performance against Jones and Cooper in his previous 2 fights, and Liston's destruction of former heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson in 2 first-round knockouts, Clay was a 7-1 underdog. Despite this, Clay taunted Liston during the pre-fight buildup, dubbing him the Big Ugly Bear, stating Liston even smells like a bear, and claiming after I beat him, I'm going to donate him to the zoo. 55's Clay turned the pre-fight way into a circus, shouting at Liston that someone is going to die at ringside tonight. Clay's pulse rate was measured at 120, more than double his normal 54. 56. Many of those in attendance thought Clay's behavior stemmed from fear, and some commentators wondered if he would show up for the bout. The outcome of the fight was a major upset. At the opening bell, Liston rushed at Clay, seemingly angry and looking for a quick knockout. However, Clay's superior speed and mobility enabled him to elude Liston, making the champion miss and look awkward. At the end of the first round, Clay opened up his attack and hit Liston repeatedly with jabs. Liston fought better in round 2, but at the beginning of the 3rd round, Clay hit Liston with a combination that buckled his knees and opened a cut under his left eye. This was the first time Liston had ever been cut. At the end of round 4, Clay was returning to his corner when he began experiencing blinding pain in his eyes and asked his trainer, Angelo Dundee, to cut off his gloves. Dundee refused. It has been speculated that the problem was due to ointment used to seal Liston's cuts, perhaps deliberately applied by his corner to his gloves. 56, though unconfirmed, boxing historian Bert Sugar said that 2 of Liston's opponents also complained about their eyes burning. Despite Liston's attempts to knock out a blinded Clay, Clay was able to survive the 5th round until sweat and tears rinsed the irritation from his eyes. In the 6th, Clay dominated, hitting Liston repeatedly. Liston did not answer the bell for the 7th round, and Clay was declared the winner by TKO. Liston stated that the reason he quit was an injured shoulder. Following the win, a triumphant Clay rushed to the edge of the ring and, pointing to the ringside press, shouted, "Eat your words!" He added, "I am the greatest. I shook up the world. I'm the prettiest thing that ever lived." At ringside post-fight, Clay appeared unconvinced that the fight was stopped due to a Liston shoulder injury, saying that the only injury Liston had was an open eye, a big cut eye. When told by Joe Louis that the injury was a left arm thrown out of its socket, Clay quipped, "Yeah, swinging at nothing. Who wouldn't?" In winning this fight at the age of 22, Clay became the youngest boxer to take the title from a reigning heavyweight champion. However, Floyd Patterson remained the youngest to win the heavyweight championship, doing so at the heavyweight championship, doing so at the age 21 during an elimination bout following Rocky Marciano's retirement. Mike Tyson broke both records in 1986 when he defeated Trevor Berbick to win the heavyweight title at age 20. The feat also made Clay the fastest boxer to win championship, non-vacant in the modern era, doing so in 20 bouts. Soon after the Liston fight, Clay changed his name to Cassius X, and then later to Muhammad Ali upon converting to Islam and affiliating with the Nation of Islam. Ali then faced a rematch with Liston scheduled for May 1965 in Lewiston, Maine. It had been scheduled for Boston the previous November, but was postponed for 6 months due to Ali's emergency surgery for a hernia 3 days before. Side 861. Though the fight was controversial, midway through the first round, Liston was knocked down by a difficult to see blow the press dubbed a phantom punch. Referee Jersey Joe Walcott did not begin the count immediately after the knockdown, as Ali refused to retreat to a neutral corner. Liston rose after he had been down for about 20 seconds, and the fight momentarily continued. However, a few seconds later, Walcott, having been informed by the timekeepers that Liston had been down for a count of 10, stopped the match and declared Ali the winner by knockout. Time of 60. Because the entire fight lasted less than 2 minutes. It has since been speculated that Liston purposely dropped to the ground. Proposed motivations include threats on his life from the Nation of Islam, that he had bet against himself, and that he took a dive to pay off debts. Slow-motion replays show that Liston was jarred by a chopping right from Ali, although it is unclear whether the blow was a genuine knockout punch.